Matt, first things first. How are you doing? Obviously, it's been a difficult week.
Personally, I'm absolutely fine. Look, it's been an ever-changing week, ever-evolving week. Different news every single day. I've got to give special mention to my physio, Gareth Law. He's tested the players every single day, every time we've come into contact, and obviously we've had positive cases off the back of that. I think the current number's at 10 in terms of the playing staff, and one in the coaching staff as well. So he's had to come in, knock on my office door every single time there's a positive case, and let me know that. And that's never nice news to have to give as a physio. So hopefully I've taken it well each and every time. But it's just been one of those weeks where you couldn't quite predict what was going to happen. As soon as that Port Vale game was called off and we started testing, I think we felt we knew it was within our ranks. 4 cases in the first batch of testing, and then we've had consistent cases ever since that point on. And unfortunately, the games have been called off because of that. We've tried to give the opposition, our fans, and everyone as much notice as we possibly could in relation to not being able to fulfil those fixtures. We're desperate to play football. And we just can't do it at the moment because of the numbers we've got left available. And the lads who've trained have been fantastic. We've been training with numbers of 4, 5, possibly 6 at the most. But they've trained in the right manner and just kept themselves ticking over. But a special mention goes out to those players who are unfortunately isolating over the Christmas period, either with a positive case or whether they've got to isolate having to come into due to coming into close contact with a positive case. So not as happy a Christmas as what we'd have liked, but now we're gearing up to our next fixture, which is the Sutton game on New Year's Day.
Obviously, this week the isolation rules changed, so it's 7 days instead of 10. I imagine that's really positive news for you because it gives the players that are coming out of isolation an extra few days before that Sutton game.
Yeah, of course it does. But first and foremost, they've got to have 2 negative tests, two negative lateral flow tests in relation to that. And I've got to be honest with you, Craig, this batch of COVID and the new variant has hit some of the players quite hard as well. For the previous 12 to 18 months, we've had the odd case and the odd bit of illness and the odd loss of loss of the senses, really, sense of taste and smell. But actually, probably half a dozen of the players have been bedbound for a couple of days. And so it's hit them quite hard. No one's been worse off than that. But if you're in bed for a couple of days as a young man and an athletic young man as well, it knocks you back a little bit. So the next thing will be is to assess where they are when they come back within our environment and see what they're capable of in terms of their fitness. But also just to keep looking after them in terms of their mental capacity over the next few days.
I think it's been a strange one, hasn't it, since the whole pandemic's really begun. Last season, we had games called off, and it was always the opposition that we've managed to get away with it quite lightly. It's finally sort of hit our squad quite bad this time. Do you think that's probably just the new variant and how fast it spreads?
Yeah, I think so. Let's be honest. I think if you tested 20 people in the public, I imagine quite a large number of that 20 would have it. Look, we've just had, the 10 cases in the playing squad. It sounds a lot, but if you've got a squad of 25 players, that's not a huge number. Not quite half. Coaching staff wise, not being affected too much, but we've also got 5 or 6 injuries on top of that as well, plus the players isolating. So all of a sudden, if you're down 17 players, we've just not got enough to fulfil the fixtures. We might have got away with it if we had a fully fit squad and no players isolating, or we might have got away with it if we had no COVID outbreak, just the injured ones and the ones isolating. So we can go into such length of detail in terms of what our situation is. The only thing I can say is hopefully it's going to improve with players coming back from the COVID illness, coming back from isolation, hopefully coming back from injury. So if there's anything to be cheerful about going into Christmas and the New Year, it's the availability of the squad from a later date onwards.
And let's take the positives out of this, really, is that Boxing Day for a lot of the players and for yourself, and certainly for me, it's a long time since we last had a Boxing Day off, and sort of not worry too much about what we do on Christmas Day.
It is, Craig, but I've got to be honest with you. It's what we do. It's what we live for. Boxing Day games are everything at our level. Usually a local derby of some sort, usually a really big game. Ironically, I ended up watching in my first season, Exeter City, we played Torquay at home. I think we beat him 4-3 on the day. Dan Seaborn got sent off in the second half. Local derby, full house. Those are the games you want to be involved with, and those are the games I think we pretty much sold out the park for Swindon as well. So we're so disappointed for the fans and ourselves as much as anything else, because if you talk about games during a season, if you have a big result on Boxing Day, those are the ones you talk about. like you say, the only positive we can take out of it, and this group of players and the staff as well, is that we can probably eat and drink whatever we want for the first time in a long time on Christmas Day. But we've still got training to come back to, and we're still professional, or the players are still professional athletes. So there's positive spins we can take out of it, but also the fact that we're missing out on what would have been a great occasion at home to Swindon, and the other games we're missing out as going to league leaders on the 29th would have been a fantastic occasion. We always fill that side of the stadium at Forest Green with our away fans, and they're always so noisy and so loud, and we've had some good results there in the past. So it's a real shame. I just hope that when we do get back to playing, that fans are still allowed in the stadium. Let's be honest, if you look at what's happened in Wales and Scotland and other areas as well, there is an expectancy that there might well be an announcement from the government, and then that might look like we're playing in front of limited numbers or no fans at all. And that will be even more heartbreaking, because we won't have been able to get in front of our fans for a period of time then.
Away from football then, what does a Christmas Day look like in the Taylor household?
Well, I've got my parents down for the first time, and we've just moved out, so we're out in the countryside. So we're hosting the parents. I'm a 92-year-old man as well. So, look, me and the wife are really looking forward to Christmas this time around. Downside of no training Christmas Day means I probably have to help out with a little bit of cooking and a little bit of preparation. So the pressure will be on in relation to that. But great to have that social aspect, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to make a special effort to make a couple of phone calls to those players who are isolating, and those players who are on their own, because that's never nice over Christmas. And they've got to know that we're here for if they need, and if we need to drop things over, whether it be a Christmas dinner or gym equipment, presents, whatever they need, just to make them feel like Christmas. They'll certainly get that support in relation to that, and then find out where the group are in the lead up to the week's training towards Sutton. But I can't hide the fact I'm looking forward to Christmas Day and Boxing Day, because I get to spend it with the family. But I will have half an eye on what's next.
Obviously, it's been a difficult year for everyone. Have you got a message for the supporters for 2022, and anything you'd like to say over the past year?
Well, we've had such a positive 6 months, haven't we? The feeling of building a squad, which hopefully had the identity of our club and our fans at heart, and seeing them perform the way we did for the first half of the season, but be able to do that in front of our fans was special. Whether it's the opening day of the season or just the run that we went on, but the fact that we were doing it together with our fans compared to last year, it felt different. It's so much better, such a more enjoyable experience. And whether it's on the cold days at Rochdale or the home games where, how many games against Bradford, first game of the season, and the Cup saga. So many good moments to choose from. And I just hope that we can continue to do it together, dependent on everyone's safety and restrictions which might well come into place. So we've had a fantastic few months and reasons to be cheerful going into the second half of the season. What that looks like, I honestly don't know. But all I can say is that these group of players, as they have done, will continue to give everything they possibly can for the shirt and for the fans and for the club. And we hope that the fans will keep encouraging us to play in the right manner, and to enjoy Christmas, enjoy the new year, do it safely, and let's see what next season, the second half of the season brings.